Hi, hello, and welcome to the Stay in the Game podcast. This is your guest host, Cassidy Chavez. So you might not have heard this voice before. Typically, it's Trevor, but for this 13th episode of the Stay in the Game podcast, we're going to be doing something a little bit special. We've had a lot of new listeners on the podcast, and I wanted to give everyone a chance to actually get to know who Trevor actually is. So that is why I am going to be interviewing Trevor. I am the operations manager of the clinic. You might have heard me answer a phone. You might have seen me in the clinic. I also help produce some of the podcasts. So welcome to the show, guys. It's going to be a fun one. How are you doing, Trevor?
I'm doing well. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, one of the reasons that we like to bring on somebody like this in an interview style is to get a little more in depth. So in some cases, you might have a little more insight of things that patients may want to know or hear from the background. So it's going to be a completely different perspective from somebody who isn't just stream of consciousness out of my mind. So hopefully we'll get some probing questions and get some interesting responses. So we'll see how you guys like it.
All right. So first kind of thing, let's get into it. I want to know what's happening in the clinic, what's going on, what's good. What are we seeing?
Oh. Everything is going on in the clinic. Literally, I think people have been just kind of crawling out of the woodwork to find us. So we're in kind of a massive growth phase of form and function, mostly because of some of just the positive feedback that we've gotten from our clients. So ultimately, just our reputation that we've had online. We a little over a year ago, when we decided to push out a podcast, our goal was to get information into the hands of potential clients and our existing community. And it's really evolved into something where this type of promotion of information has gotten people to really connect with us. And it's turned into just volume and growth for our clinic. So I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to serve people and give people an opportunity to stay in the game, as it were. So yeah, no, literally, like, we're growing in all directions. So staff members are changing, turning over, growth of the business, and new team members coming on board. So happy to have a new face on board on the PT clinician side of things. So Stacy DeLeon is killing it in clinic right now. Patients are loving her and her skills. So welcome to her. Yeah, I mean, literally, again, growth on all aspects. So I'm forever grateful. We're busy, but we love busy and chaos. So
Yeah, being busy is not a bad problem to have. It has been super exciting. I'm seeing a lot of things for us, even online. So I think we asked a few people to write us reviews, and we've gotten an overwhelming response. So shout out to anyone who's listening right now who has written us a review, and anyone who knows and loves us and wants to write us a review. Our opportunity is still there. That really helps us out so much. Like, we get super jazzed up, super excited. We talk about you guys in the staff meeting, and like, literally, we will be drawing hearts and exclamation points around your names in the charts because it means so much to us. We absolutely love it when we get reviews. We read them all out. We do take those personally. I will say that. Usually when critiques come away, oh, you want to not take things personally. No, we take everything that you say about us, about the business, about the team members personally. We love to hear that feedback. So thank you guys so much. So yeah, a lot of good things. We've been super busy. So I guess now we'd kind of just bring it in. Any announcements? So we have a new staff member, but anything else, Trevor, before we move on?
um, you know, other than that, really, that's the biggest great news that we've gotten. I mean, other than the things that we're seeing most in clinic, and no real events. I mean, we're if any of you guys have a business or want to promote, we most recently pushed out in our social media one of our community's events that's going on. Obviously not related to physical therapy, but we love supporting our community as well. So most recently, we had one of our clients who's doing a car giveaway. So this guy does these amazing custom cars. And basically, for the cost of the purchase of a T-shirt, it is an entry into a car giveaway. So that's still going on. So if you are interested in potentially getting a really rad custom car, that's still going on. But if you guys have a business that you want to have us help promote through our methods, we love supporting our community in that way as well. So we'd love to hear from you if you need some support and some good word out. We can help share that to our community as well.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Let us know if there's anything that we can help push along and connect our whole entire community in here. And just want to say on the topic of the car thing, I'm not a car person. I was like, yeah, okay, like I wouldn't want, like, who cares about a car? You're thinking you're going to get some like beater or like some just like regular Toyota Camry. No, this car will blow your mind. It literally blows fire or something, right? It's like Hot Wheels, but like brought to life. It's like crazy Grand Theft Auto mixed with Fast and Furious on crack. I've never seen a car like this. I don't like cars. I don't even know how to change oil, but like I would want this car. So
Yeah. So
get in on
ultimately,
it.
on their Instagram page, it's Cruising by Design. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through the details of spelling. Go check it out. Cruising
Check
by
it
Design.
out.
You go to
I'll
their
promote it on.
Instagram.
I'll put it on the social media so you guys can it can be top of mind. But all
Yeah.
right, let's get right into it. So I want to bring us all the way back. Let's bring us back, Trevor. You're probably gonna have to go years back into your memory, but you have good memory. I want to ask, why'd you become a PT? Short synopsis. Give me just the breakdown. Like
I'm not that person to give
that's
you the
not a
short.
short story, but
I'm gonna
like
take
try
you.
to make
I'm
it.
gonna take you out into the woods as usual when I'm telling stories.
Gosh.
No, literally, this came from literally out of nowhere. Everybody always asks, "Did you have physical therapy? Did you have a good experience with a physical therapist?" No, literally, I was a freshman in high school, and our teacher marched our entire class down into the library and said, "Figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life." So we had to go do the research in all of these careers and present a report. We needed to have the job prospectus. What's the average pay range? What's the educational requirements? What's going on in the future of this career path for you? And I had to present as a freshman, and I literally just chased it down. I got to uh, junior college, and it was still at that time still a bachelor's program. So I was like, oh, 4 years, I'm in and out. That'll be cool. By the time my freshman year of college was done, it moved all the way to a master's. So I decided, look, I've committed a year. What's another commitment of 3 more? So let's chase this all the way down. So
Thank
I
goodness
did
you
because
didn't do it until recently because now it's a 4 year thing, right? Now it's a doctor.
well, a clinical doctorate is almost the same amount of commitment of time. Literally, they just changed a few of the internal workings of the educational requirements. So, and what I found literally is I felt like in some of our educational program, the challengingness, the depth of research. So some of these clinical doctorates aren't putting out research. Right behind me is my thesis. These new grads aren't having to do this stuff. So that's sitting in the library of my college. So yeah, take that for what it is. Not everybody gets to do all that fun stuff, but
So shout out to both public library, college library, and your elementary school library for having getting you into the field of physical therapy.
yeah, no doubt.
For sure. All right. Now I want to. So we're gonna stick on the theme of like very basic questions. Another basic question is, what is PT? I think a lot of people don't actually know PT, and even more importantly, what's the value of PT? So this is a super basic question, but I'm not gonna lie. Before I met Trevor, I'd never gone to physical therapy. I had no idea what physical therapy is, and I think a lot of people still understanding of physical therapy is like, oh, that's what you do when you're like old. Can you tell us a little bit about physical therapy, just in general, and what's the true value of it?
Oh my goodness. So ultimately, I'm only going to bring it from my perspective because PT is such a broad umbrella. You've got hospital based where you're coming out of after a heart attack needing to just get up and move again. But for us, in an outpatient kind of private practice environment like we practice, what we do is, I mean, what I'll tell people is doctors save lives. Like we enrich lives. We make you live a more fulfilled life. If you're suffering with back pain or injury, something that's stopping you from the enjoyment of your life, we're going to give you that life back. So we're going to help you be able to do the things that you love. It could be something as simple as I've suffered a sprained ankle and I can't move or run or do the things that I want to do, or I can't even do the grocery shopping to take care of and feeding my family. These are the things that we're going to get you back to being able to do. So the true value in physical therapy is if there's something that you're missing out on that you want to be able to do, we're going to help you get there. So ultimately, even just a phone call that I had today was a patient who's concerned. He's a groundskeeper. Like this guy is passionate about baseball and got from like doing high school and college baseball into groundskeeping because he just wanted to stay so close to the sport. So being able to lift and carry and push dirt and shovel and bend, it's a lot of wear and tear on the spine. So it's still a relatively young guy, but signs and symptoms where he's got a degenerative disc or degenerative symptoms in the spine. These are things that are like, all right, my goal is to keep you off the operating table, help you stay connected to baseball and the things that you love, being outdoors and being around baseball. This is what we're going to get you to be able to do. Live your passion, live your life more fulfilled. That's the true value of physical therapy to me.
For sure. I have to agree with you 100%. I think a lot of the time people might just settle for not feeling their 100% best and think that that's just how they have to continue and live out their life. And you come to physical therapy and like you leave that first session not even believing, like, I didn't know what good felt like until you come and you're leaving our table feeling way better and not even knowing that that was possible. So there's just like different levels to it. And I want to encourage anyone who's never tried it before, come in and, you know, see the true potential of how your body can feel and feeling your absolute best, performing at your absolute best.
Well, there's so many people that suffer, and let me just interject that real quick, that suffer needlessly because they're told, probably incorrectly or falsely, that, you know, it's age, just deal with it. This is just a fact of you getting older. Or sadly, even another example from one of our patients just most recently, from suffering a knee injury, a torn meniscus in the knee. Well, we're not going to operate because you don't play for the Packers. Well, you know, this is somebody who's young enough to be able to want to continue to garden and move around and walk and live a life for the next 30 or 40 more years of their life. So that you basically just pin this person into believing that just accept this knee problem when you don't have to. You can do something for this right now to preserve the quality of your remaining years.
For sure. I think that's why I get super like jazzed up when someone calls us on the phone and they found us, because they've often gone through the medical system, our, you know, accepted medical system. They've gone to every single doctor. They've gone to chiro. They've gone to all these different places. And then they finally find us. And I'm like, welcome home. Like you finally found us. But it's so sad. And that's why I have to encourage anyone, if you're still looking for answers for pain or injury, keep pushing. I have gone through my own journey with navigating this healthcare system. And like, you really do, you have to keep knocking on doors until you find the right answer for you. Hopefully it doesn't take you that many doors before you find ours. So, all right, next question. What's the number one, we kind of talked about a little bit of this already, but what's a number one misconception about physical therapy? Can you think of any?
Of course. Well, there's the one newest one now. And I really, it's the upsetting part of what our profession has become versus what it could be. Is it's almost a glorified personal training session now, and it's become that way because of the insurance companies. So insurance companies have kind of watered down physical therapy. So most people think that, hey, every physical therapist is the same. That in terms of misconceptions, everything that everybody does is the same. A lot of clinics that surround my area, when I ask my patients, so what was done in your rehab program? So I want to understand what didn't work. And generally what's happening is they're getting put on machines, they're being left or walked away from, they're getting just volumes and volumes of exercises that may or may not have anything to do with getting this specific problem that they came in with corrected. It's almost they're trying to do like a general strength and conditioning program to assist, which in a lot of cases is going to make a lot of people better. But if somebody has a more complex issue that's going to require skilled manual hands-on intervention, they're not just getting what they need elsewhere. So ultimately the misconception is all physical therapists are the same, and what we do is almost like a glorified personal training session. The other side of that is they think all we do is massage. So I have this shoulder problem. Can you rub this out?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing is like, look, not everything is soft tissue pressure point related or can be rubbed out to be made to feel better. Ultimately, what we do is a bit more complex, or at least higher level providers do a lot more complex assessment so they can identify what factors are going in, so that whether it is a tight muscle, well, is it tight because some nerve irritation is happening? Is there an imbalance? Is there something that's happening? Are you digging deep enough as a clinician to figure out what this patient does on a day-to-day basis to identify what structural issues are going to become a problem to begin to fix it? So it's not just, can you rub this out? And it's not just, I'm going to provide you a million exercises in almost like a strength and conditioning program. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. And it also kind of brings up another one. Like, why do you think it is what we do is so different? Like, is it just that we're more skilled, or do you think that those business models just make it so that they have those, like, other PT places have to just treat people like a mill? Like,
yeah, I honestly feel like the answer always rolls back to insurance to some level of degree,
they're the
because
devil.
ultimately what ends up happening is the quality of care tends to get watered down. There's almost no way to be able to pay a physical therapist a wage and spend all of that time one-on-one with a patient.
Yeah.
There's no way to do that profitably as a business. So what ends up happening is you see a PT in some of these other, I wouldn't even call them competition, because I don't even consider what we do the same at all in terms of
Completely
physical
different.
therapy.
Yeah.
You see a PT for maybe 5 or 10 minutes of your treatment, and then you're seeing an aide, an assistant, a volunteer, or a student, because that's the only way to keep costs enough down for them to be able to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the quality of what you get has to suffer because reimbursement suffers. It's not that the clinician doesn't want to spend time with you, but if they did, they'd be out of a job, because that business would basically, the lights would go dark. They wouldn't be able to pay their bills at the end of the month.
Totally. All right. So talking about business then, explain your business or your business ethos in one sentence.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
challenging question, but like what's one word? I can think of a word. To me, the first thing that comes to mind is treating people with integrity. Like that's what our business model is about. I feel like it's just doing everything with integrity. Like, we haven't sold our soul to the devil, which would be insurance in this case. And like, that's why we can treat patients the way we do and make care centered around their goals and what they wanted.
Yeah, it's literally patient-centered care. It's,
Yeah.
we work for you. We
Yes.
take the time up front to understand, what do you want, so we can bend over backwards to give you what you're looking for. So ultimately, like, and it's crazy, because I just had one of our most recent reviews, and we keep kind of banging on reviews talking about it, but one was like, a patient came in like telling us about the great results that they had.
Yeah.
And how happy they were that I didn't try to oversell them. Literally, it's like, here's what you need, here's what you asked me for, and I gave it to them, and they were in and out in just a few sessions. It wasn't like, oh, I wasn't like pressured to be sold something. I mean, ultimately, if you do what's right for people, like, I don't treat you for the intake, the treatment, and then to have you leave forever. It's, I want to be top of mind for this patient, because as long as you live, if you have a problem, I want you to think to come to me. Like, my goal is to treat you right up front, and maybe I only see you once or twice.
Yeah.
But if something else pops up down the road, you have a family member or a friend, you're going to think about, hey, you need to go to form and function, because look, I think they're honest. They're not going to just try to like sell me 6 years worth of care.
Yeah. We're not going to give you more or less than what you actually need. And we're only going to treat you if we think we can actually help you. I think that's kind of rare in these days of business. I feel like you can confidently walk away knowing that we did it with integrity and we did it with honesty. And it's not like when you go into an auto body shop and you're just like, I don't know, let's just cross our fingers here. Hopefully they don't do me dirty. And just, I don't know what I don't need and what I do need. Because that's how I usually feel. You just trust that they're going to do right by you. So yeah, I feel like we don't have that fear here.
Well, and that's the beauty of kind of living in this consumer driven kind of society now, is the people who do not do those things, your reputation is online.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, like, I'm meticulous about, like, hey, our reputation is at stake with each and every patient. Let's make sure we're doing our utmost to make everybody have that wow experience to say, look, these people know, one, they know what they're doing. They're going to get me the outcome. They made me feel a certain way, but we're going to deliver it with a certain level of, as you said, integrity and a level of service that just, takes it to a different level.
So aside from maybe business model wise and how the patient is getting treated, what else should patients look for when looking for a new PT? Whether it's us, whether it's someone else out of state, like what are the checklists? What are they gonna go into? Looking on the website, like just how, if you were to look for a PT, what would you look for?
I mean, like I said, that's the beautiful thing about consumer-driven society. Like, what is their reputation online? Do they have reasonably good reviews? Do they have recent reviews? Because that's going to tell you, hey, look, uh, you may have had good reviews in the past, but like if I haven't seen a review in 6 months or a year, you might have a complete staff turnover. You may not have that skill of that provider working with you in the future. Secondarily, when you pick up the phone, like, are they just trying to book that appointment, or are they trying to get to know what's going on with you so they can know if they can even help your problem? So a lot of people will just be like, hey, I got an order for physical therapy. When can I book?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first, let's talk about what's going on with you. Are they going to take the time to understand what your condition is? If it's something they can even treat, like why waste your time sitting, booking an appointment, taking your time, possibly spending a copay or co-insurance or whatever the cost of that appointment was going to be, and then find out, oh, like you're not even in the right place. You don't even treat what I have. If you're a student athlete and you look around and see nothing but 65-year-old total joint replacements, do I have the confidence that you're going to be able to handle what it is that I need to handle as a condition? Like,
Yeah,
those are the things that are going to need to be, those boxes need to be ticked before you make that decision to confidently choose a PT.
for sure. What about skills wise? Like if I go to my first appointment, am I looking that, or like, do I ask a certain question? Do I ask if they have certain modalities, or that is that stuff not really matter? Like, will a good PT be able to fix me either way? Like,
Well, a good PT is, number one, they're going to be quick to identify a specific problem
okay.
and be able to explain that thing in the way that you can understand it. So a good PT is, one, going to be very quick to identify, okay, here's the structure of what's going on. Here are all the other factors that could be going into contributing to this problem. And here's the plan to begin to solve it. So ultimately that they'll be able to, one, find out assess the problem, figure out what the diagnosis is. So sometimes you're getting referred over and there's going to be a doctor's diagnosis, but then there's going to be a physical therapist diagnosis as well. It's kind of checks and balances of what's actually going on with that. And then based on all of these things, here's how long I think it's going to take to fix it. Because in most cases, all right, just book 3 times a week for 4 weeks is what's on the referral from the doctor. I better book 3 times a week for 4 weeks. If they're just following protocol, they're not really using their brain to be able to identify and personalize a program to you. They're just kind of, okay, you come, I treat you, you leave, and I take the next person. They're not taking you into consideration.
Yeah. All right. So let me see. What's my next question here? All right. Do you have any unpopular opinions, controversial opinions? And I kind of actually wanted to bring this up because we had a reply to some of our videos that we had put on social media, and we got like so much hate for it. And I was so confused as to why. And so I was wondering, that just kind of like brought me up. I was like, I wonder if in the realm of like fitness and health, if you have any like unpopular, heated debate topics that you know of, like off. I know that there's also one you could also bring up, the other than that video, your lumbar extension for back pain. That's a hot topic.
Yeah, there's a bunch. This could be an entire
You're very
episode.
controversial, Trevor.
Here's my issue is there's a few things, and I'll get into the social media side of things in a second.
Yeah.
Respectfully, maybe I'll be respectful.
Roast them. Defend me. I put the posts out and they came after me.
So ultimately, there's a few things that make what I do, or my opinions and my theories and my experience, different, that a lot of places, when you go to PT, they're like, okay, let me guess what you did. You did X, Y, and Z. Don't do any of those things, because ultimately they were a waste of time. The first thing for lower back pain in particular, there's two. One, actually three. One is stretching hamstrings. And I am like, if I could make a t-shirt with no hamstring stretches on it, like that, I would have that t-shirt.
Yeah.
So like for me, there's a reason why hamstrings get tight, and it has nothing to do with a lack of stretching of them. And I'm not going to go into the details and
We should definitely go into the details later on. That's another episode because I know you can pop off.
the other thing is with low back pain and sciatica, every video, everything online is a bunch of pure form of stretching where they just grab a knee and ankle and cross it across it and stretch their glute out. No,
No, no.
not going to do that. Not going to do that. That piriformis muscle crosses the sciatic nerve. You're going to squeeze and choke it off. You may loosen it and get yourself some temporary relief, but the risk benefit of that is absolutely not. There's a couple of other exercises that are recommended at every other PT office with low back, with knee, with ankle, is a side lying clam or clamshell exercise where you lay with your knees slightly bent and you just open the knees apart. Oh my God. If I see another person who's gone to a PT office that's done a clam, I just, like, I've been a PT for almost 20 years. And literally, there's probably veteran PTs who are still prescribing this exercise, but I think they've been a PT 10 years, like a 10-year veteran PT who's given clamshells. They've been a PT for 1 year, 10 times. They've never progressed their skills.
Yeah.
They've never progressed their skills. They've never progressed their knowledge. They've never progressed within identifying what is going on to try to build a glute muscle or why a glute muscle might be weak. They're prescribing exercises that they just don't understand a deeper depth of knowledge to get to the root cause of some of these issues. So those are ones in particular that are pet peeves. And now back to the kind of social media online thing. The post that you're indicating, it was, I loved the comments. I bite my lip over it. It's just, I don't understand people online who just really want to fire back at people without like, here's an appropriate response when you see something that you're like, that you disagree with.
Nothing. Nothing.
One would be nothing. Don't say anything.
That's the best option. Just shut up.
That's option number one. Number two, maybe ask a question. Hey, tell me why you would do that. Like, what is it that I'm not quite understanding about this? Because maybe it could be that you're right and that person that you're about to disagree with is wrong, but there could be, and just, take this in deep down somewhere in this area, take it in and digest it a little bit. It could be that you don't quite understand what that person's trying to get across to you. Just ask the question. So the post really was like, if I've got shoulder pain and I'm doing just a straight overhead military press, right? Mm-hmm. That might be an exercise you might want to avoid. If you wanted to continue to stay in the gym, literally you could just lean back and do an incline press. And the response is, that's chest, bro. Like, or other kinds of responses just killed me. Or, hey, why wouldn't you do this? Or why wouldn't you just bring your elbows in? Well, here's the early responses. Number one, cool, you're doing an overhead press for shoulders, right? Yes, I understand that you're going to, as you decline, you're going to activate some pec. But guess what raises your arm overhead? Your deltoids. You're still going to get deltoid movement, but by leaning back, you're not going to be in a position to fray and give a friction to the biceps tendon and your rotator cuff tendons. So I know it's not ideal, it's not optimal, but it's going to keep you in the gym and keep you active. One was tuck your elbows in. Well, guess why I don't want to do that? Now, when I'm actually going into flexion, I'm firing off my biceps even more to get into this plane. Generally speaking, bicep shoulder pain is one of the reasons they're having that difficulty. So my technique is on point. The comments are not on point because it's just a pure lack of understanding of why we would do what we're doing. If I took an EMG study of which muscle groups are firing off, I'm still getting the activation of the muscle groups that you're trying to get with your shoulder press. And sure, I might be activating more pec by doing a decline or an incline press, but it's keeping you in the gym and keeping you active and keeping your tendons safe and healthy.
Yeah, those comments, man, they had me sweating. I was like, oh no, did we say something wrong? We're putting wrong, missing fake news out there into the world. But yeah, thank you, Trevor, for that explanation. Definitely want to correct anyone out there who thought we were wrong. We were not. And I love
And
the
I
fact
may
that,
go
like,
in depth. I may do my own little like side video and just
yeah, we got to.
post it in the comments
You know
and
what?
just
There's
shred them.
Yeah, there's this reel of like Cody Rigsby. He's like a Peloton instructor. The audio is like, he's super, well, one, he's like such a super sassy guy. He's like, you can leave a review on Yelp and I will not read it. And like, I think we need to do a video with that audio on it. Like maybe get you on like a Peloton or something with the wig, because the wig is a very popular request from all of our
You
from
know,
our videos. It's
it did
hilarious.
get some response. It did get some response. So maybe we go back to like putting out a mullet Monday or who knows.
Yeah, we got different characters in our closet here, so we got to think of what we're gonna name them too. If you guys have any ideas, please let us know. So
Well, we did our spinoff of Therapy King from Tiger King. I can bring the
yeah,
mullet back.
I don't know. That was a scary sight. That was a scary sight. I
Hey,
don't want
when
to
we
bring
were
any
in
of that
quarantine,
back.
I let a lot of this get going. It was pretty impressive.
It was scary. Okay, what's one thing that physical therapy or the physical fitness kind of world community needs more of? What's one thing? One thing.
One thing the physical therapy world needs more of.
What
Man,
the world needs now is blank.
blank. It is blank. Ultimately, what it needs now is literally providers who will distance themselves from working for companies and not be more patient centered. Like if we could just drive physical therapy toward what the patient's needs are and not jumping through the hoops of third party payers,
Yeah,
then what we're going to get is outcomes. We're going to get a happier group of people. And we're going to get less stressed physical therapists because they don't have to deal with this stuff. Generally speaking, the people who are in the mills as employees and physical therapists, they don't want to treat the way the businesses are offered. So it would really take a lot of stress off of my brothers and sisters in the PT community, because everybody who I interview who's in that place, they tell me, what do you want out of a business?
mm-hmm.
And it's not this thing that I just came from, because it burns people out.
Yeah, it's time to ditch the insurance companies. We should just go total anarchy. I'm waiting for the day. My last question to you, are the days of insurance PT over?
I don't know that it will ever be over, but I'm hoping its days are numbered. You're probably seeing a transition toward people who want to do things for themselves for the best, and our schedule is probably proof positive of that movement. But I think we're catching the first wave of it. We're catching the first wave of it. Like literally, the tidal wave is coming.
People are fed up.
People are fed up. People are fed up. Like, and you see it. We're gonna bang on reviews, but these are people's opinions.
Yeah.
The opinions of places who work for insurance companies tell you everything that you need to know about. Like you saying people are fed up, they're fed the F up.
Yeah, it's their days are numbered. They're over. Let's just rip up your insurance card. I'm just kidding. No, you probably still need it. We can't go there yet. Don't
If
do
you got a
that.
heart attack, a stroke, cancer, broken bone, you need insurance. Stuff like this.
Pay for the stuff that, like, I'm a big advocate for paying for healthcare that one is within reason, that you can, like, not gonna put, if you can pay for it, you're gonna get a better outcome for sure. I'm the cheapest person around, but the one thing I don't mess around with is paying for my healthcare stuff. Like that, it's totally worth it to come out of pocket. I do it for many different kind of healthcare businesses, and I never been unsatisfied.
Exactly. And like I said, like insurance, like find a plan that will help cover a broken bone or an accident or a stroke or a heart attack or cancer. That's really what the purpose of some of these big
Insurance is. That's what insurance is, like, by the definition, right? Like for emergencies, like if something were to happen.
But if you've got something that like a physical therapy office can handle, like literally budget for that. Because and the beautiful thing about our business is like we've made it so streamlined and so easy to work with us financially and about payment plans and financial options that there's almost nobody that we can't help. Like people rule themselves out of doing things like a cash physical therapy office because they think, hey, I pay all this money for insurance. I really want to use those insurance benefits. And people struggle to break out of that kind of mindset. But when you actually cross that ravine of like mental, like, I don't want to go there, and they get to the other side and realize it's Shangri-La over here at form and function, then, they start to see like, it's starting to click a little bit more.
Yeah. So what's next for form and function, Trevor?
More.
Helping
More.
more people?
Exactly. It's doing what we're doing to continue to get the word out, and more people that will continue to find their way through our doors, which means we're going to need to find great people to continue to help support them, and we'll continue to expand our ever-growing network of patients and providers and potentially more facilities. So yeah, no, literally what's next is more.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm happy to be a part of this business, and I can't wait to see where it takes off and goes to. Even with this podcast, I hope that it reaches more people and you guys can find some information that was helpful to you guys in making choices about your healthcare. So in that kind of vein, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, comment, send this podcast to someone who you think would listen to it, would find it helpful. Take someone's phone and go into their freaking Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the podcast on every single phone that you can find. It helps us out immensely. Like I said, more people are listening to us, more people are finding us online. Be a part of the OGs that know what we're talking about from day one. Be one of our day ones. And yeah, anything else, Trevor? I mean, what else do we got going on? How about we end it with one word of wisdom? We love to do these out of staff meetings. Trevor's full of wisdom. What do you got for us today?
I take it all the way back to one of my ultimate Henry Ford quotes is, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. So ultimately, for me, your mindset is everything. Let's push this forward. If you think you can get this thing better in physical therapy, come find me, and we'll find a way to make this thing happen.
All right, guys. And that is our episode. Like I said, I hope you guys liked it. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, reach out to us. Other than that, stay in the game.